I think the bottom line here is, does the Black Widow movie need Iron Man? And while it's a simple question, I believe the answer to be complex. Because I do believe that she needs a Avenger, right? There's no shame in that. She famously helped Cap in Winter Soldier. That was a turning point for the character. Some of you liked First Avenger, but most people did not. It was not good. But Winter Soldier, I mean, the Russo brothers were helpful, of course, and they helped redefine Black Widow herself. That was really actually such an important movie in the MCU. But it wouldn't have been as good if it wasn't for her involvement, right? Hulk helped Thor in Ragnarok, and that's also pretty famous as an assist. And Scarlet Witch will help Doctor Strange in 2021, and people are, I think, more excited for her involvement in that movie than the return of Doctor Strange. But he doesn't have to feel bad about that. In fact, the rumor is he's going to get a whole lot of help in that movie. And I think that Benedict Cumberbatch would just welcome making all that money at the box office. And that's, at the end of the day, what's very important, especially as every Marvel movie starts to make $1 billion. You don't want to be the one to not make $1 billion. And Black Widow has always had a little bit of a problem, unfortunately. Some people have a real problem with the character. I don't know why. I think Scarlett Johansson does a great job, and I think that she has tremendous unrealized potential to be the female Captain America. People forget she's just as juiced up. Well, maybe not just as juiced up, but it's close. But anyway, I just feel that Iron Man is the wrong Avenger to help Black Widow. Now, before we get to the right Avengers that could help her, first I'd like to add that it really bothers me that this might not be a fresh scene, with the rumor that it's scraps from Civil War, a scene cut from the end of the film that's apparently been shown in a few places, where Tony tells Natasha to run. Which means this prequel will take place right before Infinity War, right? Which makes no sense because she started that movie out on the run with Cap and Falcon, but first she had her own side adventure, right? And then dyed her hair and her eyebrows blonde. I would like to see that happen, though, and what inspired that crazy. I mean, Scarlett Johansson said it was supposed to be a nod to Yelena Belova, who's now finally showing up as Florence Pugh, but I'd be like, why the eyebrows? You know, I think like facial recognition technology is going to pick up the other features. You're not going to throw them with the blonde eyebrows. It was a mistake. But we love Black Widow again, even though Scarlett Johansson makes it so hard to love her sometimes, herself as an actress. But we'll take this rumor with a grain of salt that that's the footage, that's the nature of the cameo. Because you know what? I was also thinking about it, and they could be like in Avengers Heaven, right? Looking down on Earth in a this is your life scenario. And that, I have to say, I might actually be okay with, because that sounds pretty cool. They're the only two Avengers to actually die during Endgame. You know, Cap, you know, just aged up. So that would be actually really cool. But I have to say, no matter, even what we want as a fan, no matter what the scene is, if it's fresh or if it's recycled, it will significantly undercut the emotional weight of Tony's sacrifice in Avengers Endgame. To see him again so soon. Not to mention, because the cat's already out of the bag and they're going to have to promote it, because that's the whole reason they're doing it, to sell tickets, that's going to be going on during the Oscar campaign for Robert Downey Jr. And I think it will really hurt it. Just as that Justice League movie KO'd Wonder Woman's Oscar chances. It was worthy of nominations. I know some of you don't agree. Wonder Woman has the... Why do some of you have such a problem with these female heroes, even just being in competition, right? I didn't say that Wonder Woman needed to win, but I thought Gal Gadot did an amazing job making her character likable to both men and women. And I think Patty Jenkins really stuck the landing, you know, helping to make that happen behind the camera. And I think both deserved nominations, quite frankly. I thought the script was also incredibly good, but nothing at all, and it's Justice League's fault, and some of you haters, I think, too. All right, so I personally wouldn't bring Tony back until that Doctor Strange movie in 2021, like from a different Earth in the multiverse, right? Or maybe as an artificial intelligence that he started going before he passed away, that Shuri's able to complete in Black Panther 2 in 2022. Maybe I would do both those things, but you know, I think it's too soon for Tony to come back, and I don't like him coming back under these circumstances in a flashback. So, back to what Avengers could offer her an assist with her solo movie. And there's a lot of pressure with a May release date. But again, there are better and far more obvious choices than Iron Man, like Hawkeye, so we can finally see what happened in Budapest. If you're gonna do a Black Widow prequel, how do you not show what happened in Budapest? Not to mention they've already teased that location for this movie. A prequel with Black Widow in Budapest? Hawkeye better be standing next to her. Clint and Nat have always had a special relationship, but it has still not been really explored or explained since it was introduced way back in 2012. And I have to say it's a credit to the two actors, Johansson and Renner, that we buy it, considering they've never actually done the work to make that relationship, to establish it. Then Captain America. Winter Soldier established a complex relationship between these two. A special relationship with Hawkeye, a complex one with Captain America. They are an unlikely duo, the shadowy spy and idealistic soldier, right? Yet so alike in their loneliness and sacrifice. They've had so many touching moments throughout the movies, even in Endgame when they were both, maybe going to split that PB&J sandwich. I mean, she ultimately sided with him during Civil War. I'd also like to point out that it's very nice and important that both these relationships are platonic, showing that men and women can be very good friends and peers out there in the soup, so to speak. And any chance to highlight that again would be a welcome one, at least in my opinion. I know some of you are haters on this. All right, so Natasha, although, did have a brief romance, and while a lot of fans didn't appreciate this Joss Whedon shipping, I thought it had potential, but never realized it, and Feige pretty much wiped it from existence rather than try and fix it, it was still touching to see Bruce so emotionally affected by her death. Some closure here back when he was still alive would be nice, right? But unfortunately, Bruce was likely off-world when this movie takes place, or they hadn't gotten involved yet. And you know what I have to say? Bruce Banner's Hulk seems like such a nice guy, but when you think about it, he was actually a really bad boyfriend. And Natasha is a saint for never saying anything to him about it. Maybe she didn't. We didn't see it. I wonder how they got to that kind of good place that they were at in Endgame. All right, so anyway, but it was also a little awkward. That was bad. It was bad. All right, so anyway, I'd also like to point out that the Black Widow movie is coming together very nicely all by itself. We'll finally learn all about the Black Widow program with Rachel Weisz being involved. We'll potentially get a new Black Widow for the MCU with Florence Pugh. Pugh! I can't help myself every time. Pew, 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 pew. I wonder if that's going to happen to her in real life. It's so funny. It's fun. All right, so anyway, a visually thrilling villain with Taskmaster who can copy any physical move he sees. I can't wait to see that. And the fascinating idea of Russia's Captain America, who didn't go into the ice, but might as well have, right? And David Harbour, who could play that in his sleep. So yeah, I can see throwing in one Avenger as a safety net to make sure Natasha's box office mission is a success. But again, Iron Man is simply the wrong one. Plus, he was already all over Far From Home. Robert Downey Jr., didn't you learn anything from your previous overexposure, muscling your way into Civil War? I know that lots of you don't like to believe that. There's proof. I have the evidence down below in the video description, but they wanted to make it a Cap-centric Civil War movie, but Robert Downey Jr. was like, I think I should be co-starring. And, it ended up really good, but, Robert Downey Jr., he co-opted Cap's third movie, right? And then he also was in Homecoming all over the place. Now, I enjoyed all this Tony Starkness, but a lot of people did not. There was a backlash, and that's why there's still Team Cap and Iron Man to this day, even though they've personally shook on it, right? People are still, you got to pick a side. It's the new Batman and Superman, which makes me kind of sad that Batman and Superman have been replaced by Marvel characters. If you talk to some people who aren't comic book fans, they actually say that. They say, oh, I'm not into Batman and Superman. Mine are Iron Man and Captain America. And on that note, that means Black Widow should be freaking Wonder Woman. And so I hope that she can maybe at some point get to that level. But Robert Downey Jr., let people miss you. Then you can come back to open arms, because I have no doubt that Robert Downey Jr. will return to the MCU. So what do you think? What do you think about Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man being in Black Widow? And what do you think about the Black Widow movie on its own? And what do you think about the eventual return of Iron Man? How would you handle it? You know what movies are on the horizon. Share your thoughts again down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.